Yeah.
I gets the money.
Steady West.
I gets the money. I gets the money.
What?
I gets the money. I gets the money. I gets the money.
Go to work, go to work, go to work. Now, I wanted to have you all introduce yourselves. Go to work, magnificent people.
My name is Inkwell J. I'm from North Long Beach. I'm a rapper, singer, actress, plus model. I do it all.
Go to work.
Bobby A. Jones from Watts. I'm a writer, the inspiration of Imperial Dreams, and a community activist.
Go to work. That part right there. And now you all are participating on Saving Hip Hop Culture. What is your perspective about hip hop culture today?
My perspective on hip hop culture is that I think we're at an impasse. Is that people are holding on to old school hip hop and they're having a hard time embracing new hip hop. A lot of the appreciators of old school hip hop like to call the new school like mumble rappers and like to kind of discredit their artistry when actually they should be a little bit more embracing, because while I myself may not listen to what's considered mumble rap, if they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the old school rappers. You know, they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the ODBs, one of the original mumble rappers. They wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Bone Thugs and Harmony, who can't nobody rap a whole Bone Thugs and Harmony verse. Like, you know, if it weren't for old school rappers, if it weren't for the pioneers, we wouldn't have such artistic expression and freedom in music like our kids have today if it weren't for them. So that's where I think we are, is that we're at a divide, basically.
Go to work, go to work. And Bobby Ye, what's your perspective?
My perspective is everything in life evolves. Hip hop is evolving to, being more commercialized so that, Caucasians, Asians, and everybody can embrace the culture. But I feel like the more that we commercialize the hip hop movement, the more substance that we lose. You feel what I'm saying? Because even going back to the pioneers, hip hop was a reflection of what was relevant at that point in time in the culture, things that we was dealing with and whatnot. And I feel like we're moving far and far away from that. And I feel like to a degree, and I'm not bad mouthing hip hop, because you have artists like Kendrick Lamar, Big Crit, J. Cole, who's keeping it, relevant. You feel what I'm saying? And talking about social illnesses that plagues our community and whatnot. But I feel like hip hop is creating, a lot of young brothers and sisters that's, more prone to, self-medicating off narcotics and, running from reality and living in fantasy world. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like the biggest thing that's happened to, black people since we have, won our civil rights and whatnot was the hip hop movement, because of our voice. We use that voice to convey a message to the world. But now that voice is just about degrading our women, which I don't stand for, taking narcotics and killing brothers and whatnot. And I feel like if we're going to really, put forth an effort of saving hip hop, we have to first invest more in saving our youth and saving ourselves, and that a transition into the music that we talk about.
Go to work. Well said. You understand me? Who we have here, right here? You understand me? Go to work. And you go by Inkwell J.
Inkwell J.
Yes. And if you were to share a piece of information that you want to be lifelong, what would you share as a hip hop artist?
A piece of advice that I would share.
That you want to go down in history. Absolutely.
Fear does not exist. And also there's no such thing as good or bad luck. I say fear doesn't exist because when you remove fear, you're able to live as completely as possible, as wholly as possible. And I don't mean holy in a religious state. I mean wholly as complete, as full as possible. There are a lot of things that as artists we don't think that we can do because it doesn't fit our brand. But if people live like that, we wouldn't have a Missy Elliott or Michael Jackson or Busta Rhymes. You know what I mean? You have to live without fear. And then also there's no good or bad luck. If something bad happens to me, I lose $5 and someone finds that $5, how is something that's good for them bad for me? They cancel each other out. There's no such thing as good and bad luck. And once you realize that everything that you go through are just parts of your life that get you to the things that you ask for, the things that you want out of life, you'll realize that there's no bad thing that happens to you. It may make you feel bad, but it itself is not a bad thing, because it's just a part of the story to get you where you're supposed to go, even when it feels terrible. Like I always tell people, I may not go to church every Sunday. My favorite story in the Bible is the story of Job. And Job lost his whole family, and God did that. You know what I mean? And everybody will say, oh, bad things happen to me, the devil be busy. You might not know that actually might be God taking things away and moving things around and shifting your life and shaking you up, because he wants to see where you are and how dedicated you are to yourself and to him. And a lot of people, they forget that. So
Can I ask you a quick question?
I would say that.
Sure.
Is it that God wants to see where you are, or does God send you through these trials, tribulations, and trying moments to show you who you are?
Yeah, that's what I said, to show you who you are to yourself and to God and see where you are. Yeah, I think that's another thing that I think people and artists forget, is that artists have a hard time accepting the work that they themselves have done.
Right.
God gave you the ability to do, right? And as you continue to do, that gets you to where you say you want to go. And as soon as you get there, you go, that was all God. Did you not get up every morning? You know what I mean? A lot of people be like, I'm waiting for God. You know what I mean? If people would be honest about the amount of work that they put into to get where they need to be successful, people would be better about how they request things.
Right.
God, give me the ability to, rather than God do for me.
Exactly.
And that's where it is that when people get successful, they say that was all God. So you got people who don't know the actual steps saying, okay, well, I'm going to just sit here and wait for God. And God is going, you're going to have to move. I'm going to get you to get up and you're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to write a check. Like, you want to attract somebody, you going to have to become attractive. And that don't mean get yourself to be skinny. That means you got to become an attractive person. Right. You got to attract the things you want. And people have a hard time of understanding that because their belief is God is going to drop it down. I'm sit here and I'm going to wait. It's going to fall in my hands. No, you have to go to work. Like, you actually have to do the work so that God can provide the things that you said that you wanted.
Amen.
That's exactly how it's laid out. And that's why I said there's no such thing as good or bad luck. Like, my brother died last year. And I even, thank you. It was difficult, but honestly, even in its own sadness, I was like, yeah, there's something bigger that's supposed to come out of this. This is a part of my story. So my whole family, going through it, the grief and the mourning and all that stuff, but it's still a part of the story.
Exactly.
So that when we get there, we can say, man, for a little bit, didn't think I was going to make it, but I for sure made it through because I continued to move through the discomfort and the sadness and the bad. And the, you know what I mean? If people continue to move through the bad, it wouldn't look like that for so long.
Go to work.
I agree with you. I just had I guess you can say, a debate with a brother the other day, and I asked him, this is a question I asked him, I said, when good things happen to you, who does it come from? He said, God. I said, when bad things happen to you, who will it come from? He said, the devil. But in the Bible, God say, I sends good times and I send bad times, for I, the Lord, sends all things. I create the darkness and I create the light. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's just amazing that you said that there's no good luck and there's no bad luck. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's amazing. That's heavy.
Amazing.
That part
I think
right there.
her and I need our own TV show.
I know, this is looking great right here. That part right there. That's what saving hip hop culture do for you. Go to work.
And honestly, that was confirmation for you. Whatever you were like trying to get out of that conversation, it just got confirmed.
Right.
Amen.
Like,
absolutely.
I've been saying that. I've been preaching that particular belief in that theory for, it has to be about 5 years now, 5 or 6 years now. I was in a philosophy class in college, and the first time I took philosophy, bombed it, did not do well. Second time I took the philosophy class, it was a different professor, and he just approached things way differently, and I actually understood what was going on. And that was one of the only, I don't even remember who the philosopher was, but that was the theory, is that how do you know good comes from God and bad comes from the devil? And it was like this big, like it was a whole war about it, I guess hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And that's the thing that from that day I was like, how do I know? How can the story of Job be my favorite story out of the Bible, and I'm still here believing that good comes from God and bad comes from the devil? Not realizing, and that's what cancels it out. That's what cancels it all out, is that if every time something bad happens, you want to blame the devil, you're missing the point. You're missing a part of your journey. You're literally cutting off a whole part of your journey by not embracing the bad. You know what I mean? Like, the bad could literally be God being like, hey, I have to take your mom away so you can do this thing. And that's exactly what this woman said. She said, if my mother didn't die, I would not be the woman you see in front of you. And you mourn, you go through sadness, losing friends, family members, houses, cars, money, children. You go through that, and it's hard and you suffer, but literally it's just pushing you where you said you wanted to go. For those people that wake up in the morning and they be like, and this goes to a lot of hip hop artists, they wake up in the morning and they say, man, I just want a deal. All right, you gonna get that deal. You might not get no money from it, but you said you wanted a deal, remember? Man, I'm so hungry. Okay, well, there's food, but dang, I don't want Pop-Tarts. But you said you was hungry. here's food. You know what I mean? But when you're exact, when you're direct, you
Specific,
get exactly
yes.
what you asked for, even if that means you were pushed in traumatic situations. It's like, I want a deal where I make all my money. You gonna get that deal, but that might require you losing your best friend. Y'all don't talk no more. That might require you moving out of your city. That might require you not being with your girl anymore. Like that just might require some really difficult things. That's what you said you wanted. You know what I mean? If you wanted for that success to include all those people, that's what you say. I want a deal where me and my girl will be good and our kid will be good, and you know what I mean? But people aren't exact because they're afraid to ask for what they want. There's that fear. Remember I said fear, good and bad luck, it all comes together. They're afraid to ask for what they want, and since they don't ask for what they want, especially women, we don't ask for what we want because we're afraid of what people will say, or we're afraid of being judged, we're afraid of being too much. I'm gonna be all. I'm gonna be enough, I'm gonna be too much, I'm gonna be a lot, I'm gonna be all. Because the more I am, the more I get, even if it's not everything. If I shoot for 100 when I really only wanted 70, I'm at least get 80. You know what I mean? And that's just how I live my life, is no fear. There ain't no such thing as good and bad luck. And in this music industry, you gotta be exactly who you wanna be so that no one can manipulate you.
Go to work. And we have a lot of hip hop music and films. And as a writer, your perspective about saving hip hop culture would be what?
Saving hip hop culture is us saving ourselves.
Go to work.
And it's gonna transition into, that movement. You feel me?
Amen.
You gotta start saving one another.
That part right there. Well said. Thank you. This has been a segment on saving hip hop culture. Go to work.
It ain't easy. In fact, it's hard. Ain't no two ways about it. We need God. Looking for the world to love us. So
we are back with saving hip hop culture. Check it out. You're gonna introduce yourself. Go to work.
Yeah, it's your boy I Live, aka Belly the Don. What's happening with y'all?
That part. Go to work.
Then there was Bobby A. Jones from Watts, California. Writer, inspirational, Imperial Dreams, community activist.
That part. Go to work. Indeed, indeed. What is your perspective about saving hip hop culture?
Well, my whole perspective in listening to this, y'all, it's real vital. It's so vital that we save hip hop because if you don't see what's going on, it's a diabolical plot against the whole culture. You know what I mean? I can't say too much. I gotta be real professional with what I say. So, as far as what we see and why I'm speaking what I speak, is what we see as far as these people, wearing all these tight pants. A lot of these youths, they drinking all this syrup. They looking dumb in their videos, pointing all these guns. Even Jay just dropped on the new 4-4. You holding all this money to your ear. That's a disconnect. These are the things that's actually destroying our culture. And people were selling it out just for whatever, for a few bucks and stuff, when actually our whole culture of hip hop, started off as something positive, and we, got it from the straight dirt all the way up, So a lot of things have changed, and, that's why we here, man. We finna start talking about what we, as a culture of hip hop can do to start eliminating a lot of the BS and, preserve what's left of hip hop, really, so.
That part right there. Go to work.
Go to work.
In reflection or in response to what you just heard Liv share, what is your response? Bobby Ye?
Oh, yeah, as I said before, and I want to just piggyback off what you said, it's real critical that we save hip-hop because hip-hop is the movement of the people. You feel what I'm saying? Hip-hop is our voice, and it reflects what at one point in time it reflected what was going on in the community. Now hip-hop is just kind of like, it's just no disrespect to nobody, but it's trash. This day and age is trash. It has no substance to it. It's no knowledge being kicked. You feel what I'm saying? People aren't addressing social illnesses that plagues our community and whatnot. But what we have to do to save hip hop is focus more on building up our peoples, and that transition into the music. You feel what I'm saying? And we have to start holding some of these rappers accountable. You feel what I'm saying? You can't say that you're a blood and you're a crip and you popping individuals and doing this, so on and so forth, and come and just chill on the block like it's nothing. Like, no, man. We gonna start holding you dudes accountable, man, because you guys is misleading the youth. Some of these dudes can be doctors, lawyers, judges, but they idolize y'all because they may not have a male positive role model in their household. You feel what I'm saying? So they look to y'all, and y'all telling them to degrade our women, to self-medicate off these narcotics, and most of y'all, and it's crazy because like I worked on a few videos. And these dudes said they sipping lean and they smoking and they doing all this, but behind the scenes, these dudes is sipping tea. You feel what I'm saying? But they programming our youth to believe this. I just recently asked one of my little homies, like why you sip lean? He said, man, I got this from Future. Like, what? You don't even know Future. So how could you allow that dude to have that much influence on your life to where you becoming a junkie? And it's deep. And just like what he say, you know, it's a diabolical agenda. It's an esoteric agenda that they're putting on us. You feel what I'm saying? They trying to feminize the black man. You feel what I'm saying? They don't want us to be masculine. They want us to be docile. They want us to be, you know, submissive and whatnot. That's one. And if you really think about it, in Cali, New York, and other places in like 2000, a lot of dudes weren't really on lean, right? On the West Coast, they was off Sherm.
Yeah.
Every now and then a little heroin, but everybody was off the chronic. But it seemed like ever since we invaded, what was it, Iraq? Remember they took all the poppy and all that? Now you got this influx of poppy coming in. Now you got these rappers, Lil Wayne and all these dudes talking about what? Lean. Lean, which is codeine, which is a derivative of opium. You feel what I'm saying? So you see what's going on? Like, you feel me? Like, it's just, yeah, but I'm going to pass it to my kind of folks. It's just, we got to save our peoples. We got to invest more in our peoples than in, you know, a new Maybach. You feel what I'm saying? Rocking furs and diamonds, jewelry, so on and so forth. We got to invest more in our peoples. We got to invest more in these kids and showing them the way. All right, if you successful, you made it, how hard is it to go back into your community and start a financial literacy class? They teach these kids, you know, how to manage money, so on and so forth. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Go to work. Go to work.
Go to work. Shout
That
out
part
to
right
all
there.
of us, you know, that's contributing to what we talking about. You know, my nigga Nimsy, man, super shout out. Neighborhood, he's like so, you know what I mean, about redesigning the way that we need to just, our whole economics in just that area. You know, shout out to my nigga. I mean, sorry about that. Sorry.
Because I was like the first one.
But yeah, you know, it's a lot of individuals, you know what I mean, that's participating with that. So shout outs to all y'all, even if I ain't said your name.
Nipsey, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Big Crit,
there we go.
Jay Electronica, you feel me? Most Def, hands down, you feel me? Like, shout out to y'all and what y'all contributing to the movement, even though it may not be popular. Even though it may not be popular, but yet y'all still doing it. Because a lot of people, they tend to do what's popular. You feel what I'm saying? If I can get attention, if I can get notoriety, you feel what I'm saying? Then it's just crazy, like, that we're talking about this. But look at what Colin Kaepernick then, you know, contributed to the culture and the movement. And now he's been ostracized by everybody. You feel what I'm saying? And then I feel like more brothers need to step up and support him. There'd be no NFL, and I'm not playing a race card, there'd be no NFL if it wasn't for melanated people. You feel what I'm saying? People would be disinterested in it. So I feel like brothers, man, y'all need to step up and y'all need to show them support, man. Because I promise you, I'm not watching another NFL game again until this brother get what he worked so hard for. This dude worked hard to get the position that he got. And y'all want to strip him up there because he started, you know, shining light on the social illnesses that plague the black community. And particularly people who come from a destitute community like Watts, Harlem, Brooklyn, South Central, Compton, so on and so forth.
Deep. So when we're talking about saving hip hop culture, we're talking about the people, we're talking about conscious information, we're talking about financial literacy, we're talking about the messages that are being put out there and what you're supporting and what you will be willing to give up as well. So in that instance, I see you thinking very deeply, Liv. What else would you like to add?
Just like, you know, I'm going to piggyback off of what he was saying as far as all these people that in all these positions, NFL, whatever you do, you know what I mean, you're African and you got a lot of money. I just feel if we all are in as a whole as far as how we support the culture and how, you know what I mean, they didn't got a hold of the culture to promote it in a fashion. I just think we need to go back, you know, to how we supported the culture so strong. And all of these people with all this money, you know what I mean, we need to like really, I can't do it, I mean, but somebody up in these levels and brackets and knowing how to network, we should have a way literally to recycle these dollars and put it back into hip hop a certain new way. You know what I mean? I just do believe that it's responsibility for those that got money though. That's the thing. You know, that can actually make a difference. Like Nimp, he's really taking care of his business. Kendrick, like he was saying, I mean, shout out, these dudes are really helping people. But then when we think about a lot of people that, you know, can really help the community and help hip hop, that's why I just think like, damn, we got this person that's making all this money, this person that's making all this money. It's just like, where's the help on that level too? Because if you guys is letting this happen and, you know, our voices ain't really radiating that loud, then we need help. That's just the realest, you know, I can really just say, because my main thing with hip hop, and I haven't even been recording like that For what? Just like you saying, it's all whack. I don't even be, my mind be on other stuff. I'm like, when I do decide to drop, and yeah, when I do decide to drop, it's gonna be on that level to wake my people up. That's the whole mission. I'm trying to, you know, be like the next type of Tupac in the game to really wake the people up and, you know, give back in that way. Cause we as a people, just through hip hop can change the whole damn world, the whole economy.
That's true.
And you know, that's pretty much you know, the answer as far as the next level where I think we need to go economically, you know what I mean, to change hip hop.
Wow, deep. So what would you suggest economically, because I am holding a GoDaWork business class from 9 to 10 on Sundays. I'd like to invite you back.
Perfect.
Absolutely. So I have a lot of people that deal with financial literacy, and they just happen to swarm me. I'm talking about in the last, say, 3 months, so the last quarter, because I need a lot of help. At the same time, I'm trying to do a lot. So it just so happenly that it works together. I'm telling you, when you meet these people, they're going to tell you when they met me. And for you to say this and this is recorded, and you know what day this was recorded, is going to trip you out. So we working together. Absolutely. Go to work. So financially, what would you suggest, or what would you like to see in the community? Absolutely.
I'm gonna get to that, but let me just say
Sure.
this: the things that us as black peoples desire the most, we go to other peoples to get it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what type of cars do? Like Mercedes, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. That's some peoples that's not even, that doesn't even look like us. Even the jewelry and whatnot that we go buy from the sloths and so on and so forth, going to Koreans or Jewish peoples or whatnot. What I would like to see now, if myself and this brother was playing with these millions, you feel what I'm saying? What I say to you is, look, man, let's buy this building right here, and let's start a swap meet, our swap meet. You feel what I'm saying? So, and this is how this employment can transition to peace. We can say this, right? We start this swap meet, but we go to every hood and we gonna employ brothers. You feel what I'm saying? So you may have a PJ, which is where I'm from, in the Grape Street working, a Boniana, a 6-0, a Hoover, but we come in here to basically earn a living for our families. And that is transitioning to peace, because now we come in here to work. So it's like, man, what's the deal, man? How was you working today? Man, I'm working 8, man. I'll probably do a 12. Christmas coming up.
Right.
And that's the way to recycle the black dollars. You feel what I'm saying?
Go work.
Instead of me going out and getting a Jewish attorney, I should feel comfortable with going to my brother and say, man, I need you to be my attorney. I need you to be my management, my role manager. I need you to be this. And that's the way to cycle the black dollars. And this is what I feel about us as a peoples. We buy into a lot of things that don't invest or buy into us. So instead of us, buying Michael Jordan, so on and so forth, black peoples have the ability to assign value to everything other than themselves. So we said we're not buying Jordan no more because Jordan not supporting us. But this is real. We're not buying into Nike anymore. So how about we start our own thing and we buy into it. We buy from each other, we sell to one another. So the black dollar is being recycled so everybody eats if they buy into the system. Everybody eats. If we can just cut out peoples who don't give to what's about us, we'll all be millionaires within the next 10 years if we can just recycle the black dollar. In our community, the black dollar very seldom is recycled one time from me to you. Right. And if it does go one time, it goes out. But in other communities, it's recycled 3 to 5 times.
Right.
We need to retain more of our money. We need to stop spending with Gucci, who don't care about you, Louis Vuitton, Balenciagas, and so on and so forth. We need to invest more in us. It's a lot of young brothers and sisters out here that's, in fashion and design, but our great minds get bought off by other peoples. We need to support them. We need to get behind them. This is a movement. We got to stop supporting trends and fads and all that. But in essence, we need to support one another.
And it's another connect on the other line. Most millionaires got 7 ways of income. I'm trying to be a billionaire, need 14 ways of income. Feed the family, hood, and then some. Rolling through the city with the top back. And I dare money, hey, I'm trying to stop that. And I'm bringing all my real homies with me. Yeah. I gets the money, I gets the money, I gets the money.
Airplane flight, airplane flight. We on the airplane flight, airplane flight. We on the airplane flight, airplane flight. A slide through the sky in the middle of the night.
I got a couple minutes before my next plane, so I'm sitting in the airport with time to think. Damn, I'm doing good, living in the hood. Homies think I'm ballin', think I'm cute. I ain't one for playing the fool, so girl, I'ma let you do what you do. Go ahead and do what you do. I keep it real when I'm with her. I ain't one for playing the fool, so girl, I'ma let you do what you do. Go Saying you've come too far to be giving up. Keep on. God is just a prayer away. Keep on. Ain't got no time to be giving up. Keep on. There will be a brighter day. I get up early in the morning. First thing I gotta thank God. I'm still